Hello, all my friends. Welcome back or welcome to the channel. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome. I'll introduce myself. My name is T, and this is my channel, Crumpets Tea and Sewing. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you two reviews. So the first review is going to be of this lovely fabric that was sponsored to me by Mood Fabrics. It's called Italian Blue Top Weight Viscose Denim, and it was sponsored to me in exchange for a blog post. I did that blog post last week, and I will put the link to that post in the description box below, just in case you would like to read the blog post as well. I'm also going to be doing a review of the new look 6394, which is a classic button-down shirt. It's semi-fitted, and it has some sleeve variations. It has 5 different variations that you can make, and I'm going to tell you about my experience with that as well. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into the review and tell you about these two, the fabric and the pattern that I used. So I will be doing these reviews simultaneously. So I will change off and switch off from talking about the fabric as well as the pattern. So if you have any questions or any comments that you like to share, maybe if it's something that you would like to know more that I don't include in this video, make sure that you include that in the comment section below. And as always, if you like this video, please make sure that you give it a big thumbs up and share it with your friends if you like to. All right, so let's get into the review. So first I want to talk about the fabric a little bit. So the fabric is a 100% viscose denim fabric, and it has a very fluid drape. In the beginning, when I first received the package, I thought, oh wow, this is very drapey. I don't know if it's going to have the structure that I want to be able to make a button-down top, because when you think of a classic button-down denim top, they usually have some structure to it. They're not very fluid and drapey, especially if you are looking for that classic button-up denim top that resembles like a lightweight jacket type of thing, which was what I was going for initially. But my wardrobe was just in desperate need of a denim top, and denim shirts is just like the classic trendy staple in most girls' closets, and I desperately needed one. And so I have one, but it's a ready to wear, and it's not fitting me anymore because I've had it for almost, I don't know, 6-7 years. And so I've definitely changed in my body shape, and so it's not really fitting anymore. And so that was something that I desperately needed, and I wanted to make one. And so when I saw this on the Mood website, I thought, ooh, it's so lovely, it's so gorgeous. And this particular denim is $13.99 a yard. However, it was on sale at the time, and I think I paid, well, I didn't pay for it, but it was on sale at the time that I selected it, and it was I think it was $11.19 or something like that. And Mood Fabrics, often they have sales where they have 20% off. They just had a 15% off of their summer collection, and with the 15% off, it was around $11 as well. So you can always catch those sales and also get it for a few more dollars off. So anyway, the fabric itself, like I said, is very fluid, and I didn't really think initially when I received it in the mail that it was going to hold up. However, it is doing really well. I did not think that it would, but it was doing really well. I believe this is like a 4-ounce denim. It's not really stated on the website, the ounces, but you could definitely tell that it's a lightweight fabric, and it's ideal for like loose fitting tops, dresses, tunics, maybe some really nice flowy pants, things like that. However, like I said, I made a semi-fitted shirt, and I made it with the new look 6394 pattern, and it's doing really well. It is. There are some things that I would like to change about the pattern, but I'll talk about that a little bit later on, to be able to get a better fit, so that if I were to use this particular fabric again with this particular pattern, I would get a better fit, especially around the bicep area, which is an area that I've told you all before that I usually have the most trouble with when I'm sewing or when I'm altering my patterns. So again, this is a really great fabric, by the way, and by no means, just because it's more of a fluid type fabric, that's not like off-putting to me. I definitely love the fabric. It's a great quality fabric. I will say though that if you are intending on buying this fabric, make sure that you have a serger on hand. The fabric does fray quite a bit, and that's basically what you get with most viscose type fabrics. So it does, especially denim. So you're not going to be able to use like a zigzag stitch. You might be able to do like flat fill seams or something like that, but you're definitely not going to be able to do like a zigzag stitch, because it's frays way too much for that. And I would definitely encourage you to get a serger if you did, or to have a serger if you intend on getting this particular fabric. The color of it, I love the color. It's not too light and it's not too dark. It's a medium blue. Now in my particular pictures, it appears as if it's more of a lighter colored fabric in some of the pictures, but it's really a medium blue fabric, and I love the medium blues because I don't know, I'm more drawn to those. I'm not a fan of the lighter denims, like the really light wash denims, but I really love the medium and the dark blues, and so that's another reason why I selected this particular denim as well. So besides the fabric fraying, I would definitely give this fabric 10 stars if I had, if it was on a scale, but I know it's just usually a 5-star rating. And so yes, this particular fabric get a 5-star rating for me. I absolutely love this fabric, and I actually purchased more. I purchased more of this fabric when Mood Fabrics had their summer sale. And so the 2 yards that I got for free as a sponsorship, as I told you all before, I made this new look $63.94. And my daughter, she loved it so much. And for me and for my biceps, like even though I did a bicep adjustment, I felt like I needed to add just a little bit more room for ease and for movement. And it just didn't fit me the way in which I wanted it to fit. It fits and it's nice, but it's not as comfortable as I would like it to be. So I would like to add at least another inch in the bicep area before I commit to keeping something like that in my wardrobe. So my daughter loved it so much, and I'll show a picture of her wearing it as well, that she decided, hey, I want it. I really want to have this. And so I was like, really? Hey, you can have it. And that tends to be the case here. I report that a lot here, huh? If it's something that I'm just not comfortable with wearing, my daughter is, she's the beneficiary of all my clothes. So anyway, so let's get on with talking about the pattern. So I'm just looking down here at my iPad, looking at the notes that I had made so that I don't forget anything. So again, just one more thing that I wanted to mention about the fabric. So even though it is very fluid and drapey, it is structured enough that you can actually get tailored looks. And so that's one of the reasons why you see in these pictures, like the shirt actually looks like it's a tailored, close-fitting look. However, like I said, it is a fluid drapey fabric. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the pattern, which is the New Look 6394 pattern, and I'll put an image of that right here. It is a pattern that has 5 different variations. Like I said, it's a semi loose fitting top. It's a button down top. It has sleeve variations, so you can do options that has like a 3/4 sleeve, which is the option that I did. It's actually kind of a long sleeve, and you roll it up because it has a tab that you sew onto the sleeve and a button that you sew um, onto the sleeve as well. And you roll that up, and you use the tab to keep the rolled up sleeve in place. And I really like that look, and that's one of the reasons why I selected this pattern, because I knew I wanted to make one of those sleeves that rolls up into a 3/4 sleeve with a tab. And so that's the view that I chose. So that's this view right here, which is view B. But as you can see here, view B has pockets, and I did not do the pockets. Now, silly me, I did cut the pockets out, but after I started to construct the garment, especially the mock-up, after I finished the mock-up, I decided it looked much better on my body type without the pockets, so I decided not to add the pockets. So that was view B. So as you can see, you can also do a view, and I'll put the images up here so that way I don't have to keep putting this up and down. You can also do a view without sleeves. You can do a view with a 3/4 sleeve, but it has gathering on the bottom of the sleeve, and then the sleeve has a band on top of the gathers, which is really cute. And then there's view C, which is a shorter sleeve with a cuff. And like I said, all of these are button up or button down shirts. And there are two views, however, where there's just like a front button placket and then a collar stand. And then the other three views are you have your facing that you sew to the left and the right side of the garment, and that facing kind of flips over. But it's also you also have a wing collar attached to that facing piece. So let me show you here. So here's the piece here with the collar here. And then here's the view that has the stand up band here. So these are pretty fun, different, fun looking shirts, and I love the different options that you have. Now, the back of the garment has you have two different options. You can make a garment that has a yoke on the back, and then that yoke has inverted pleats at the top. And then there's an option for no, all views have that yoke. Okay, so all views have a yoke on the back of the garment. However, there are two different options in terms of whether you want to do inverted pleats with the yoke, or whether you just don't want to do the inverted pleats and you just want to add two darts at the bottom of the bottom part of the garment, not the yoke part, but the bottom part of the back, garment. And so it's a really fun pattern. That yoke piece, it extends to the front of the shoulder here in the front, and so you do have a shoulder that the shoulder of the pattern comes forward, so you have that forward shoulder on the back yoke, which I also love because I have sloping shoulders, and sometimes I have to do like a forward thrusting shoulder adjustment, or sometimes I have to do a sloping shoulder adjustment, depending on the type of pattern and how they design that pattern. And when you have a forward shoulder pattern, all of that is, you don't really have to worry about all that. And so that's what I like about the pattern. Even though it has that forward shoulder, obviously because I have sloping shoulders, that forward shoulder doesn't come forward as much. it hangs a little bit back, but I still don't have to do a forward shoulder adjustment or anything like that. Not forward, I'm sorry. I still don't have to do a sloping shoulder adjustment or anything like that. So that was one of the things that I really liked about the pattern as well. The only thing that I didn't like about this pattern is that it has facings in the back. And I hope that I can explain this well enough so that you can understand my dislike for it. But the facing piece for the back of the garment, I don't know if many of you are aware, with these types of shirts, sometimes they don't even include a facing in the back because the method of sewing the collar to the garment is that you leave the upper side of your collar open. You don't attach it to your garment at all. You leave that piece open, so that way after you stitch the under collar to the neckline of the back of the garment, you can put the upper collar on top of it and then stitch across, or hand stitch across the length of the neckline in the back, and it is enclosed in that way. And so most of the patterns that I have sewn with button-up shirts like this that has a collar, you don't have a facing. But with this particular pattern, you do have a facing, and that facing is sandwiched in between the collar and the garment. I hope you are still with me here. And because of that, even though I clip the inside where the curves are and everything, that facing does not want to lay flat. And also it's not sized correctly. And so it doesn't meet up at the side seams. It's very awkward. And so I decided to, with the next project that I make with this, to not even include the facing piece and just attach the collar to the neckline of the garment in the traditional way without any kind of facing piece. But the inside of the garment where the facing piece is, it doesn't want to lay flat. It's all uneven, and it just does not look all that great. So although everything else came out pretty well with this particular pattern, that's the only gripe that I have with it. And I would definitely omit that the next time that I use this pattern. So all in all, this is a really great pattern. It really is. I didn't have to do that many alterations and adjustments, but I will talk about the ones that I did have to do, just in case that's something that you would like to know before going into this project. So for me, I selected a size 16. And that size was a 44.5 inches for the bust. And like I said, it's a loose fitting garment. And so you want that extra room for ease. So my bust measures at 38.5 inches, and that's without ease. And so about 38.5 to 39 inches. And so I have, some good room in there for ease. And so that was the reason why I chose that particular size, because I wanted to have a lot of room in there for ease. Now for the bust darts, because this pattern does come with bust darts, I had to reposition those. The bust darts actually start from the bust, and I'm gonna see if I can show you here, but it starts from the bust point and it goes downward. Instead of going across this way, it goes downward like that. And so I found that to be, I've seen it in garments before, but for this particular garment, it just was not suitable for my shape. And so I moved the bust dart and I manipulated it, and I made it so that it goes across the bust instead of going downward. And that's what I did for that. Let's see, what else did I do? I did a bicep adjustment. Like I said, I did a 1-inch bicep adjustment, but I wish I would have done a bigger adjustment, maybe a 1.5, maybe 2 inches, or either just graded up a size in that arm area. Now for the sleeve, I also lengthened the sleeve because the sleeve was about 1 inch too short. For the front of the garment, I had to remove some extra fabric up in the high bust area. There was too much extra fabric up here, so I had to pinch that out. And it was about 5/8 of an inch, so it wasn't a big deal. So I cut the pattern up at the high bust point. So I cut that into 2 pieces, and I removed that 5/8 of an inch by moving the top part of the fabric, the top part of the pattern downward. So after I cut that pattern into 2, and I had 2 pieces, I moved that yoke piece down by 5/8 of an inch, and that gave me the that took out that extra fabric that I needed up in that high bust area. So I did that, but I still needed the length of the garment so that it can match the back of the back of the pattern, as well as so that I can keep the length of the garment, because the length was perfect. And so I added that 5/8 of an inch back to the front pattern below the waistline. So the pattern was perfect at the waistline. So I didn't have to make any changes at the waistline, and I wanted to keep the waistline where it was. So that's why I didn't cut above or at that waistline area. So I cut the pattern below the waistline area to lengthen the pattern back at 5/8 of an inch, to give myself that length for the garment so that it can match the back of the pattern, as well as so that I can still maintain the length of the garment. So I hope all of that made sense. I know for someone like me, I usually like to have visuals, and next time I will make sure that I take a video of all those steps and things that I've done, so that I can kind of show you what I did. Unfortunately, I didn't do it this time, but I hope that I explained it well enough that you could follow what I was saying. So basically, like I said, I just had to remove and add 5/8 of an inch to the front pattern so that I can get a better fit. So those are the adjustments that I made to the pattern. I didn't do any other adjustments, which was amazing because, like I said, usually I have to do like a sloping shoulder adjustment and some other adjustments, some sway back adjustments. And with commercial patterns, I just have to do a lot of adjustments. And this time I only had to do like 3 major adjustments. So I was really happy with that. And like I said, the pattern is an amazing pattern. I would definitely recommend it. For it is classified as an easy pattern. So when you look at the McCall's website, and you click on one of their patterns, sometimes they'll have like a little icon on the side that'll say easy or something like that. And if you click on that, it'll tell you what an easy pattern is and what it's classified as. So easy, defined by McCall's, is for advanced beginners. Now, would I recommend this pattern for advanced beginners? Yes and no. So this is pretty much always my answer. If you are not new to the channel, you probably heard this before. If you are an advanced beginner and you have never sewn a button in your life, I would not recommend this pattern. This pattern calls for 8 buttons. So you're going to do 6 buttons down the front of the garment, and then there are 2 buttons that you have to attach to the sleeve of the button. Now the one that you're attaching to the sleeve of the button, so you are attaching 2 buttons to the sleeve, and then you're also making the tab, and then you're making buttonholes on those tabs. So that might be a little bit too much work for someone who is at the advanced beginner stage. I don't know. Maybe it's not. But I know for me, like I told you all before, I didn't really get into buttonholes until I was well into the intermediate phase of sewing. So I would definitely encourage you to practice before you use your beautiful fabric to make this particular garment, because it calls for quite a bit of buttons. Now, if you are making a garment or a pattern that calls for 2 or 3 buttons, then I think that would be more reasonable for advanced beginners. But I will say this, the pattern is very easy to assemble. So you just have your front piece, which you're cutting out twice. You have facings for those pieces, like the front facing for it. You have the back piece, which is cut into two different pieces. So you have your back yoke, which is cut once, and then you have the bottom of the back, which is cut on fold. And as I said, you can do either inverted pleats on between the yoke and the back, or you can do why can't I say the words? Darts. You can do darts at the bottom of the shirt as well. So, and then you have bust darts in the front of the garment. I think that an advanced beginner would be okay with it. But like I said, if you are someone who has never sewn a buttonhole before, this is probably something you might not want to venture off and do. So I would say advanced beginner to intermediate. The pattern calls for fabrics such as cotton and cotton blends, laundered cottons, chambray, silks, and silky types, charmeuse, jacquards, voile, soft, lightweight linen, and linen blends. So the reason why I chose the viscose fabric is because, like I said, it's very fluid and very drapey, and it reminds me of kind of like a silky type fabric, a stable silky type fabric. So that's one of the reasons why I chose that. And then this particular pattern, it has 16 pieces, but I believe I only used 9 of those pieces because, like I said, there are 5 different variations. So I only used 9 of those pieces. And the sizes for this particular pattern is US size 8 to 18 and European sizes 34 to 44. So the US size, it equates to, so size 8 for your bust is going to be 31 inches. Size 18 for the bust is going to be 40 inches. So that's kind of an idea of the range there of what you're going to get out of this pattern. Now, I would say add about 4 or 5 inches of ease to that because on the back of this envelope, so it's not finished measurements on the back of the envelope. The tissue paper always has the finished measurements. And so here it's saying for size 18 on the back of the envelope is a 40 inches. So remember, I chose a size 16 and that was 44 inches. So just keep in mind that that when you're selecting this, especially if you're going off the back of the envelope for your sizes. So all in all, I really enjoyed this particular project. I'm grateful for Mood for sponsoring this. I have fun with the fabric. I have fun making the pattern. And as I said before, I already took the liberty to purchase more of this beautiful denim because the first project went to my daughter. And so now I'm going to go ahead and make me something else with it. I may make this same shirt again. And who knows, I may make something else with it. But I absolutely love the denim and I would definitely recommend the denim as well. And again, all the links to everything that I mentioned in this video will be in the description box below. And before I forget, also, if you haven't seen any photos throughout the video of this garment, I'll make sure that I put those photos here at the end of the video. And until next time, my friends, stay creative.